Roger, the Chancellor says there'll be no recession. Is he right?
I suspect he's still being really rather too optimistic. My suspicion is that the economy isn't going to grow at all over the next year. And I think for a couple of quarters it will technically be in recession, that's to say output dropping. I think that a contraction is now more likely than not.
Looking at the infrastructure spend, £5 billion from the Treasury over 3 years, but he expects £20 billion from pension funds. Is he going to get it?
This is all still terribly vague. I think the general idea is actually pretty good. And of course he made an awful lot in his speech about all these different road improvements. It sounded very good. I think the first problem is that the amounts are simply much too small. And £5 billion from the Treasury sounds like a lot. Actually, in the macro context, it's peanuts. £20 billion from the investing institutions, obviously a lot bigger. And if you get that number, that would be good. But at the moment, frankly, we don't know any details. And I'm very sceptical that actually this will represent extra funding.
What about the markets? Are they going to like it?
I think this, frankly, is about as good as you could have expected from the Chancellor. I thought the markets will probably think it's okay, but quite frankly, this is a sideshow. What the markets have got to decide, and they know it's a sideshow, what they've got to decide is what's going to happen in the Eurozone and how is Britain going to stand up in reaction to the storm that's blowing in across the Channel.
Roger, consumer confidence key to growth in the British economy. Fuel duty's been frozen in January and rail fares have been capped at 6.2%. Is that going to give us our confidence back?
Well, again, it's a question of amounts. I mean, I'm sure lots of people will find this a helpful little bit extra, but quite frankly, that's what it is. It's peanuts in relation to the overall finances of people, and it's peanuts in relation to the strain they've been put under over the last few years as petrol prices have gone up. Quite frankly, the really big issue, I think, facing consumers, and I think the great hope, is that we're going to see a big fall in commodity prices, including oil prices, over the next year. The Chancellor can't control that, but if I were in his shoes, I'd be hoping for it. In fact, I'd be praying for it.